You only get one life, so it's important to make the most of it. Is it possible to achieve both happiness and success in life? I've been thinking about this for 20 years. And I know that being busy isn't the answer. So how does life work? There are 10 components that make up a successful life. They all fit together, so if one of the parts is weak, then everything slows down. The objective is to enjoy and achieve as much as you can. Live your maximum life. Next, I want to talk about the top 10 time management related causes of stress. Now, these apply both to work and home, really, but some of these are noticeably worse when you're working from home. So let's have a look at these top 10, see what they are, see if you suffer from them, and then make sure we've got some good strategies for dealing with them. So the first one is an untidy desk. And I know people who say, yeah, my desk's a bit untidy, but it doesn't stress me out. I know where everything is. But I always say to them, yeah, but I bet when you tidy your desk up, you feel good afterwards, don't you? And they always go, well, yeah, I do feel good when I tidy it up. So your untidy desk is putting stress on you. And the obvious thing is to keep it tidy. Don't have any piles of stuff that have been sitting there for weeks and you know you should be getting around to them and you haven't. They're almost talking to you. When you're trying to work, they're going, ooh, look at me, I'm still sitting here. Ooh, you haven't done me yet. So sort that desk out. Or have a second place where you can go when you want some uninterrupted time just to be able to calmly think. I quite often go and sit on my sofa in a separate room. I put a bit of music on, just jazz with no words that distract me. And I sit on the sofa and I type on my laptop. And I'm away from my desk because my desk has got lots of little urgent things and stuff that I'm in the middle of. Whereas when I go and sit on the sofa, I'm away from all of that. So that's the first thing, untidy desk. The second cause of stress, time management related stress, is having too many tasks to do, just feeling overwhelmed by all the stuff you're meant to be doing. And the answer to this is write it all down. Have a big master list of everything that you've got to do. Keep it all in one place on one big list. You don't know when you're going to do those things, but at least you know you've got them captured. You can see the size of the problem. And you may say, well, that'll stress me out more to have this big list to look at, but it won't. You'll feel good because that's the first step towards gaining control. Write a master list. And it doesn't matter if it's on a piece of paper, it could be on a whiteboard, it could be Excel, it could be in an app, it could be in your diary. It doesn't matter where you write it, as long as you got it written down somewhere. My third time management related stress is deadlines coming up and you're not sure if you're going to achieve them. Oh, I've got to film a course on working from home and I don't know if it's going to be ready on time. Well, the answer is to break it down into steps and then have a plan of when you're going to do each step. So if you have to do a big presentation to a conference, just think, well, I'm going to have to do a list of everything I'm going to say. I'm going to make the PowerPoint slides. I'm going to practice it. So then you know what your plan is. You know when you're going to do each step. And then once you're working to your plan, it will feel good. So if you like, project management is the answer to that particular cause of stress. My fourth cause of everyday stress is interruptions. Now, I've already mentioned that I think interruptions are less of a problem at home, but nevertheless, you may still get a certain number of phone calls coming in. Perhaps you've got instant messenger binging away, whether you use Slack or Microsoft Teams or whatever it is. So what are we going to do about interruptions? And I've decided that's a big enough subject to warrant a whole video on its own. So I'm going to come back to interruptions a bit later on in this course. Number 5 on my list of common stressors is worrying about what your boss is thinking. Is my boss happy? Does my boss not like me? How am I doing at my job? I don't know. So my answer to this is to have a regular check-in with your boss. You might be quite tempted to avoid this because it might be unpleasant, but it's better to know than not know what your boss is thinking. So have a regular check-in with your boss and make sure your objectives are really clear with your boss. Again, I'm going to talk about that in detail. I've made a whole video on this subject later on in this course. Number 6 on my list of time management causes of stress is multitasking. There's this belief that women can multitask and men can't. Well, it's partly true because men can't, but actually women can't either. There's been more research done into this, and it's been found that all of us are stressed out by having to multitask. So even if you can do it, it's more stressful and it's also less efficient. So let's say you've got to do 2 jobs and they each take an hour. You probably think you can do both of them within an hour. But actually, what will happen is if you try to do both of them in parallel, it'll take you 2 hours to do both of them in parallel. It might even take 2.5 to do both in parallel. And worse than that, you'll do them less well than you would have done them because each one's not getting the full benefit of your attention and it's more stressful. So don't multitask at all, ever. Make a list of tasks so you don't forget any of them and then just focus on one of them. Number 7 on my list of time management related causes of stress is chatty people when you're busy. And I've got 3 suggestions of what to do about this. I think this is going to be less of a problem if you're working from home, to be honest, but you still might get a certain number of people phoning you up, or perhaps they're doing Skype or Zoom and they're just yakking away. So the first thing you can do is tell them. Just say to them, look, I love talking, but I've got this other job that I'm meant to be doing and I'm feeling quite stressed actually because I really need to get on with it. So don't tell them that they're annoying, just tell them that you're feeling a little bit stressed and is it okay if you go back to work and work on this? So tell them. The second thing is set a time limit at the start of conversations, particularly if it's a video call. Say to them, by the way, we've got to stick to the half-hour plan for this because I've got some other things I need to be doing. And my third suggestion is to use the word anyway. So you can say to them, well, anyway, it's been great chatting, but I must let you go now because I need to get on with this other job. And the word anyway is a polite way to say, I've had enough now, well, I've got to go. So don't let chatty people put stress on you. Number 8 of my 10 causes of time management stress is unpleasant jobs hanging over you. And I think this can easily happen when you're working from home. You can avoid doing something unpleasant you don't want to do. Maybe you've got to phone a customer. Maybe you've got to do a whole load of calls. Or maybe there's a big piece of work you have to write and you just can't face it because it's so big. And I really think procrastination is a big cause of stress for some people. And so I've made a whole separate video on that one, which is coming up later on in this course. So if you suffer from procrastination, don't worry, I've got a whole load of suggestions. But it is really important to overcome your tendency to put things off because it will contribute significantly to your stress. Number 9 of my time management related causes of stress is not getting enough exercise. And you may think, well, what's exercise got to do with stress? But actually, exercise not only makes you fitter and able to cope with stress, but it also burns off stress. So if you've just had a really annoying phone call, there's a fight or flight reaction that happens in your body. Adrenaline pumps into your bloodstream, ready to either punch that customer in the face or run away and hide from that customer. But of course, both of those are totally inappropriate responses. And we know that. So what we do is we just sit there thinking, oh, this customer's driving me mad, but we can't do anything about it. So the answer is, we're still animals really. We have to burn off that adrenaline. So after that phone call, just go for a brisk walk or even a run, and you'll find that you feel so much better afterwards. So it is important to take quite a few exercise breaks. And one of the benefits from working from home is you can do that. You can have some weights to lift or a treadmill to run on or charge around your garden chasing your dog or whatever it is you want to do. So make sure you have regular exercise breaks during your day. It will make you feel so much better. My final time management related cause of stress is not being able to relax at the end of your day because you've still got work buzzing around in your head. And I think this can be a real problem working from home where there isn't much of a dividing line anyway. So there is a risk in the evening when you're trying to relax, or perhaps you go out with your friends, or you've got your feet up watching TV with your partner or whatever, you're still just thinking about work. Maybe when you're trying to go to sleep, you're still thinking about work. And the answer is to write it down. Write everything down on a list, every job to do, every loose end, everything that worries you, just write it all down. Because what you're doing is you're saying to your subconscious, you don't have to remember this now, you don't have to hold it in temporary memory, because I've written it all down, you can forget it now. It's all safe, I've got it safely written. So write everything down, have a jobs to-do list for tomorrow, and everything that you haven't finished, write it on the jobs to-do list. Don't say, oh no, I can remember it, it's in my head, because you're stressing out your subconscious. It's really important to get it written down physically, then you don't have to worry anymore. And obviously by writing it down, what I mean is you could type it into your diary or into an app, whatever system works for you, but don't hold it in your head. So those are 10 time management related causes of stress. And I just want you to look at my list of 10 that I'm going to put up on the screen now and ask yourself which of those are significant causes of stress for you, and which of my suggestions are you going to use in order to get those causes of stress under control.
Live your maximum life.